boo, 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 boo.
Oh, that's victory credits.
Oh, yeah. Somebody did it yesterday, and I've had it in my head ever since.
Oh no. Hey guys, what's up? It's us, the Wild Wild Witchlight crew. We're back this week.
Pew, pew, pew.
We're still fighting in Motherhorn, and hopefully they can.
Third game in a row.
What? Third game in a row?
We're gonna take us home.
Take us home, guys. Alright, well, let's get into the recap. I've got some detailed notes here. And let's take a look at them. The Battle of Motherhorn raged on. The Duchess, having taken the form of Queen Kwong, a giant ape, was swinging from one of the corded hair ropes that stabilized the stage lights. Back on stage was Endlin, having followed suit and taken mammoth form. Behind her was Tinty, hurling guiding bolts at the mammoth, following it up with a quick constellation arrow. Amador had jumped out of Tinty's bag and joined into the fight as well, but Ori was all the way on the other end of the building at the door to the prison, hoping she could squeeze through the small opening in Endelin's mouth. Not Endelin. The form the door takes when it's telling you to fuck off looks like her. And anyway, well, there's a little hole in the mouth that Ori might be able to squeeze through if she casts Reduce on herself. Well, all of that to say, she didn't do it. Instead, she took a moment to reflect and ponder on the thing those mysterious goats had told the group. The Fool Scepter is the key. If anyone needed a key right now, it was Ori. Damn it, if only Jingle Jangle were here. But alas, the fool in question must be that goblin jester that Ori had seen running upstairs. He carried a little staff, and Ori took off up the stairs after him. Back on stage, Tinty cast a moonbeam on the hag and her ornithopter, destroying the vehicle in the process. Endelin the mammoth turns to Tinty, backing up before charging him and stomping him, leaving the autonome with a mere 4 health points. Queen Kwong, in her red dress, swings down towards the mammoth, pounding at the beast with her fists. Amador helps in the fight against Endelin, but at the same time hinders the fight against the patriarchy. We don't have to get into it, but the point is, just know Amador may not be an ally. Queen Kwong wags a finger at him in disapproval. From the 3rd floor balcony, Stage Fright, holding the staff that Ori is currently dashing towards, jumps over the ledge and plummets 15 feet to the stairway below. Ori didn't know it at the time, but she would be very unhappy with this turn of events. Meanwhile, in the library on the 1st floor, Tolgadden and Gleam are following in Ori's footsteps, but when Tolgadden hears the commotion coming from the theater, he and Gleam part ways, and he heads towards the source of the fighty noise. Gleam continues behind Ori, intent on freeing her sibling above all else. Back on the 3rd floor, Ori darts across the chasm above the orrery and flies towards an open door. Still no stage fright. Poor Ori. Outside, the moonbeam Tinty summoned is moved back into Endelin's space before the constellations on Tinty's body shifts from the archer to a chalice shape. He readies himself for imminent destruction, hoping the mammoth will at least burn in the moonlight before crushing him to death. Endelin the mammoth reels back and critically stomps Tinty to pieces. Queen Kwong immediately reacts and lunges at Endelin, trying to grab hold of her and pull her away from her friend, but the mammoth yanks away. The queen then storms around the Haggoth, taking a protective position above the remains of Tinty's body, its gears still ticking below but winding down quick. From the 2nd floor balcony stairway rushes Stage Fright, staff in hand, towards his master. She was in trouble and needed his help. At the bottom of the stairs to the stage, he launches his javelin at the queen, stabbing into her skin, but Amador jumps in and stands in his way, holding his rapier out, ready to duel. Approaching the top of the stairway to the stage, Tolgadden rushes towards the 2 huge beasts below, casting a spell on himself, giving him a speed boost. He dashes down the stairs onto the stage and hurls a firebolt at Stage Fright, missing him ever so slightly. Finally, emerging on the same balcony that both Endelin and Stagefright had emerged previously, Ori flies out over the stage area 45 feet above, firing golden arrow shots down at Stagefright, killing him with a single shot. But having been proverbially loosened by both Amador and Tolgaden, if we're being honest. But if we're being honest on the real, Ori did more damage than the little freak's maximum hit point, so it's safe to say that she could have easily opened the jar. Endelin backs up yet again and charges the Queen of Kwong, trampling her and stomping her, each bit testing the Duchess's resolve, but she holds strong and carries on. She grabs a hold of Endelin and pushes her back as far as she can, leaving Tinty's body on the ground behind her. Ori shouts down to Amador to grab the staff and bring it to her, but the dandelion shouts back that he can't fly, but maybe Polynella can. Before steering his rapier towards Bitter End, Amador plucks Polynella from his head and releases her into the air, telling her the plan. She would grab the staff and fly it up to Ori. Polynella flies over to the staff and completely fails to pick it up. Tolgaden, having just arrived on scene, spots Tinty's parts in the spot the giant ape left and beelines towards his friend, dropping down and giving him the healing reassembly he rightly deserves, slamming his gauntlet down and releasing a red mist that seeps into the metalwork before him. Tinty comes to with the standard startup beeps and tones, and Tolgaden looks down to the autonome saying, "We're not done yet, Tinty." Unable to wait for the honeybee, Ori goes into a dive towards ground level, snatching the fool's scepter and beginning her ascent back up. Tinty, having been shoved through death's door, decides to summon a Healy spirit, which can help aid him and his friends, and also sinks a cure wounds into his still damaged body, replenishing himself almost entirely. Endelin, being held in place by Queen Kwong, can't walk back and charge as usual, and so flails about in place, trying to gore the Queen, landing a tusk into her side. Queen Kwong releases Endelin and turns to Tolgaden, realizing what could be done, and trying her best to relay that to him. She takes his hand and leads him to lead her in the dance of the Koreds, since Tolgaden and Ori were the only two to learn the dance in its entirety. Tolgaden takes the lead, and the two perform a tango-infused rendition of the Koreds jig. What, the dip?
That we danced together. I'm so glad Tom played along with that.
Tango-infused rendition of the Koreds jig, causing all the Kored hair ropes holding the light fixture in place to pull and retract. The enormous wooden archway in which the lights are attached starts to creak and groan as the pressure builds up. Individual light canisters begin to break off and slam into the ground around them. Crash, smash, shatter. Tolgaden somehow dips Queen Kwong as their dance continues, and the crackling and splintering of the beams above grows louder and louder before snap, crackle, and pop, the fixture tears free of its supports and plunges to the stage. Regrettably, in addition to Endelin, Tolgaden, Ori, and the Duchess were directly underneath the falling rubble, and all four tried to dive out of the way. But Tolgaden wasn't fast enough and got pinned to the floor by a wooden crossbeam as it crushed him against the stage. Restrained against the floor, Tolgaden takes a moment to steady his breathing, concentrating on survival to bolster himself. From the air, Ori spots Tolgaden's predicament and takes no time to expend some of her limited magic to help a friend in need, before darting back up towards the balcony she came from, headed back to the prison doors where Gleam is patiently awaiting. Suddenly, Tolgaden's body begins to grow rapidly, expanding to double his original size and pushing at the rubble on top of him. His physical abilities now enhanced by his new size, he'll have much less of an issue pulling himself free. Tinty, having essentially fully recovered, reaches again to the skies and harnesses the power of the moon, directing and focusing its reflected light into Endelin's space, burning at her mammoth form. Endelin is burnt by the moonlight slightly before shielding her eyes from the beam. She pulls free of Queen Kwong's grasp and starts to race away towards the stairs. But the Queen, standing in the fresh rubble of the destroyed light fixture, spots a large chunk of stone wall that had been pulled free in the collapse and lugged it over her shoulder, taking aim and launching it in the mammoth's direction, pelting it in the back of the head. Within seconds, Endelin's mammoth form shrinks and she returns to her former self. The queen blows her a kiss, and she returns the gesture with a chin flick of disgust, followed by pulling the midsection of her dress up, revealing the cavity where her extra arms hang out. Inside the oddly empty space, her extra hands perform the classic insult of winding an invisible crank with one hand in order to mechanically raise the middle finger on the other. Tolgadin struggles under the weight of the rubble. He was much stronger as a large creature, but he wasn't able to get a good grip on the beam, and it slips from his hands and slams back down on his chest. Although Endelin seemed to be on the run, being trapped here wasn't good, and Tolgadin released a mist of red from his fist. A fist of mist, if you will. And the mist settled over him, providing him a small extra layer of protection. A fist of mist. Mephisto. No, whatever. Ori ascends...
Yeah, you can't go MF or FM for mist.
For Mephisto.
Fist. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Endelin was on the run. Wait, no. Ori ascends the rest of the way to the third floor balcony and dashes inside with the staff. Endelin was on the run and her health was dwindling, but the group knew that they wouldn't be able to kill her unless they could perform a symbolic eclipse, and for that, Ori would need to reunite the two acrobat siblings. Tinty quickly shifts the beam of moonlight to Endelin's new position, continuing to burn the hag. Bitter End, growing increasingly frustrated, turns to the crowd of Darkling minions in anger, screaming, "You fucking bastards! You think this is part of the show? You're just gonna sit there and watch them kill me! Get them!" Endelin continues to flee up the stairs and into the library as the audience all begin to stand from their seats and arm themselves and punch their fists into the palms of their other hands. Queen Kwong gets a hold of the beam, pinning Tolgadin to the ground, and lifts it off of him before rushing to center stage and wagging her butt at the crowd, inviting them to make her the sole target of their attacks. The audience of Darklings flood the stage and swarm mainly around the Queen of Kwong, but a member of them split off to take on Amador and Tolgadin as well. Daggers are stabbing this way and that, slicing at our heroes. The Darklings are able to dwindle down the Queen's health, attacking from all sides, and the Queen of Kwong shrinks back down to the Duchess of Dong. I'm so sorry, that's not really your name, it just rhymed.
Good.
While Amador holds his position, taking on two Darklings at once, a trained swordsman, he parries incoming attacks and fights for his life. Tolgadin performs a thunderclap, creating a burst of thunderous sound around him, damaging most of the surrounding Darklings. He pushes himself. Things aren't looking good, and they need all the help they can get, so Tolgadin gets his blood racing and his adrenaline up and quickly performs another thunderclap. Pow! Pow! Killing a few of the enemies, but triggering their explosive diarrhea, their bodies bursting into a blinding light. But Tolgadin was able to shield his gaze, and his eyesight was left unaffected. His final action was to swiftly summon his Shield of Faith, providing him additional protection. Swooping down through the opening above the Ori, Ori could now see Gleam waiting at the prison doors, and she tossed the staff to the elf, readying her golden shortbow to strike at any enemy that approached. Tinty, watching the Duchess and Tolgadin get surrounded by Darklings, jumps into action. They were going to need backup, and he knew exactly what to do. Howls are heard as a wolf pack leaps into existence nearby, standing in line formation, and Tinty commands them to sick 'em, sending half of the pack to chase after Endelin and the other half to take on the Darklings surrounding Tolgadin. Back at the prison doorway, Gleam stands holding the fool's scepter. She performs a shave and a haircut against the door, and the visage of Endelin's face returns, but opens her mouth fully, creating a doorway large enough to step through. Gleam rushes inside to find a square room with a number of locked cell doors lining the walls. She yanks levers, opening doors one by one. Getting through two of them without finding Glister, she shouts, "Glister, Glister, where are you?" The wolves jump into action, chasing after the hag of the house, and the other group ends up mauling one of the Darklings, causing it to explode in its typical burst of light and blinding a couple of the pups. Having been returned to her human form, the Duchess sees the group of 6 Darklings eyeing her. After uttering a few encouraging words to herself, healing her body and spirit, she changes course and does her best to play dead, falling on the floor and embellishing every motion, performing the most exaggerated death scene anyone has ever seen. Her rolling around and writhing on the floor, providing her additional cover as the Darklings have trouble targeting her precise position. The audience moves in, surrounding the Duchess as she lies on the ground,
I
moaning
feel
and
like
groaning.
they just were too uncomfortable to do it. Like,
You
they're
kill
just
her.
looking at the person like they're pretty pathetic. Like, I don't really want to hit them that bad.
Maybe. She lies on the ground, moaning, and I guess you're. In your mind, you're motionless. It's like you said in the recap or the thing. You're like Bugs Bunny just flopped over a log or something.
At some point, like to very much towards the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it like the lack of or the higher. My AC was higher because they just don't want to deal with me.
Mm-hmm.
They want to deal with me less. That's how I imagine it.
Well, one of the Darklings comes down with abnormal precision. The Duchess notices and quickly utters the phrasing needed to silvery barbs him, throwing him off and causing him to nearly miss. But to her surprise, the Darkling redirected this impressive attack and got her good in the side. The group of six takes...
Got me good.
Gotcha good. The group of six take turns stabbing the old woman, and by the time they each take a turn, the Duchess is left unconscious and bleeding out on the floor. The other Darklings continue to go after Amador and the pack of 4 wolves who just swarmed them. Tolgaden sees the Duchess go down and rushes towards the group, reaching into the center, dragging his friend out of the center of the dog pile. Again, he activates his mist fist and coats himself with another layer of protective shielding before Ori's enlarging magic finally runs dry. And so Tolgaden thusly shrunk back down to normal size, which, I mean, no big deal. Size doesn't matter. And that brings us up to speed. The group's health was diminishing, the hag was getting away, and the Duchess had already fallen into the hands of the audience. And unfortunately, it wasn't applause this time. She was still hanging in there, but it was unclear if she would pull through. What would happen this week on the Wild Wild Witchlight? IDK. LFO. Alright.
Such an epic recap, and then you end it with IDK.
LFO. The only thing you missed was the obvious Endorlin pun for the door shaped like Endorlin.
Endorlin. Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing.
Well, I didn't miss it. I mean, like, it didn't happen, right? Am I just forgetting that, or...?
No, but you were like,
mean,
the door, Enderlin's face, the door that looks like Enderlin.
No, I totally get it. Yeah,
Easy.
That was a missed opportunity to name it that.
Okay, in the YouTube edit, we can edit Ando's voice.
We can read
right
it.
Yeah, I'll just take that clip and then put it back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah. Okay, so that's the recap.
But we'll leave this part in so the YouTubers will be like, that's what that was.
That's where it came from. All right, so let's kick in some battle music. Let's do something more exciting. Let's just do some thorax, I guess.
Some thorax?
Oh, you've not heard thorax yet. It's a local band that plays like epic like video game music, but all on guitars and oh my god.
Oh, cool.
And I asked them if I could use it, and they were like, "Yeah, hell yeah, please do."
Cool.
Okay, so before we get into the battle, I guess I should tell Faye how to use the mob attack tool. Faye, do you see in your tools like a couple square dice button?
Oh, yeah, mob.
Where?
It should be somewhere on the left side of the screen.
Left-hand side of the screen.
It's
2 dice.
Mob attack,
under
yes.
your X.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so cool. When we're gonna attack with the wolves, you'll select. And I mean, now they're in 2 groups, so we'll do 2 separate chunks. But like, you'll
I don't have the wolves on my list.
What do you mean? Oh no,
I have
you-
Swarm of
what do you mean?
Bees, Quarterstaff, Eldritch Staff, but I don't have wolves as one of my mobs.
Right. Well, okay. So before you click that, you'll hold. So for targeting, you'll hold Shift and Alt, so you can do multiple targets.
Okay.
And then you'll hold Shift and just select all 4 of your wolves. And then you'll click that button. So let's just do a test run of that real quick. Oh.
Cool.
Oh, the music's fixed.
Attack the other
yeah.
Darklings, Tom.
Did you get it to come up, or?
Oh, awesome. So that's just damage.
That is awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Does it reflect pack tactics?
Advantage
Technically
on everything.
not, but when you open up the menu, you can click the more options and change it to advantage.
Ah, yes, I see. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I think that's gonna help me. I'll do that with the Darkling, so we're not waiting for every single Darkling attack to go through. So this should be faster.
You're awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, it was broken before. I'd done it for when Kate did this to me, but
Will you also throw this band into chat so we can look them up later?
pull up?
Yes,
Oh
please.
yes, I'm happy to. That's the name. Although, you know what, while we're at it, let me just give you the link and read it out.
Read out the link. YouTube.com/
I guess it's just on a Bandcamp. So it'll be Thor, THOR -axe, AXE .bandcamp.com. And that should lead you to it.
Hey. Easy breezy.
Beautiful cover, girl.
Still don't have death saves to click.
Yeah, that just, I'm not sure what causes that.
I'll just roll the 20.
Well, wait.
Wait, isn't it my turn?
It will be, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I meant on my turn.
Oh, okay.
Is everybody's token HUD acting weird?
No, mine's actually working really well for once.
Okay, that's good. Well, mine's not, but that's okay. Alright, well, let me know if there's any issues. Alright, let's freaking get into it, I guess. I'm gonna pop open this combat order. Alright, we're back at the top of the round. Ori, it is on you. Let's find where you're at. You're outside of the prison. Gleam has just rushed in, is searching for her sister.
Yep. So Ori's gonna enter as well. These are the only doors she hasn't tried this door over here.
She's tried only the southern doors.
Okay. I will bonus action dash so that I can move more. So there's 35 feet. It's locked.
Well, there's technically a lever nearby, so I'll let it be open.
Okay.
You pull the lever on that, the door swings into the wall. You find another empty cell, leaving one uninvestigated cell.
Okay. I can't get there. I will go over here, and we'll use my action. Oh, I'll use my action to move as well. I'll try to open this door as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hell yeah.
She's here!
She's here. Huh? Okay, this isn't good. Okay, then.
Was she not supposed to be there?
No, it's not about that. It's that I don't have my levels menu available to me. That bad. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Give me a sec. Haha. Okay. Oh, that'll work. Alright, great. She's in the prison. Okay, you swing open the door. And inside the cell, you see an elf, her face partially hidden under a sun mask, is curled up on a divan, reading a book while sipping wine from a thin crystal goblet. Other items in the cell include a crystal decanter of wine and a bowl of figs on a small table, a gold-embroidered wall tapestry depicting a wooden elven realm, and a porcelain chamber pot decorated with gold filigree. Gleam yells, "Glister!" Oh my god. Sister? You came! They run, they hug. Well, how did you get this fairy? I mean, her whole group helped us. They're fighting Indolin right now. We've got to get out of here.
She's like, don't you want to tour my apartment first?
Okay, yeah, we need to. Okay, let's reunite on the way over to the stage.
Oh shit. Okay, I'll just.
We need you guys to do an eclipse.
What?
Yes, so that we can kill Endolin. Let's go.
Okay, well, you had me at kill Indolin. You can explain on the way. Let's go! And I'll just let her go on Gleam's turn. She'll follow behind. Alright. That was full turn, Ori? You don't have... Or you do have movement left, right? You used an action to move an extra 5 feet?
Yeah, you right. Okay, so I have 90, so... Okay, I can get up to the door. So I'm like, go, go, go!
Go. Yeah, you're just, go! Just getting them out the door.
Yeah.
Alright, hell yeah. Alright, moving on. We are on Tinti now.
Okay. And my wolves are on a different one than me, correct? Yes.
Yeah, they're
okay.
two after you.
So I'm going to try to get to the Madame to get some healing in.
Oh my goodness. So generous. And that's without your spirit.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't have my spirit. I do still have my chalice
What a
form, though.
sacrifice. Oh, heck yeah. Which gives you bonus to healing,
Yes.
right? Or it gives you healing while you
gives me
heal someone
healing,
else?
but yes.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's great.
And I am going to...
A healer who can keep themselves up. What a boon.
let's see. I'm going to cure wounds. That's not targeting her. I don't want to heal the bad guy.
Yep, here you go.
Yeah, who needs
cool.
death saves anyway?
So just to specify, it does look like you can give the chalice points to other people too.
Okay, then I would like to
heck
do
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, you're full. Okay, hell yeah.
The cure wounds is... Oh, right, okay, that makes sense. I was about to say the cure wounds is enough, please.
Don't hit me
Tolgaten's
too
behind you.
And then it was... What, for chalice form? Sorry, I'm looking real fast.
No worries. 1d8 plus 4. Alright, another 8.
No, 8.
Which I will add on to you.
Wow.
Shaboom. Alright, fuck yes. Okay, so
I'll wake
that's
up
an
and
action.
I'll wake up from my. Oh no, I'm not in that Bugs Bunny position anymore because that was in the middle. I'm just like slumped on the floor, like the perfect shape for a chalk line. Somehow she just happened to fall that way. She's very dramatic. So I'll wake up and
out arms.
the flail kind of thing. So I'll wake up very dramatically with a start and then realize where I am, settle my eyes on Tinti with like the most romantic expression of like you're my hero on my face, just in case the audience is still watching. I have to keep it going.
Alright, and I'm just going to set up Shillelagh just with my bonus action, just so I have it.
I imagine like Tinti holding her up and she does the flirty thing and then he just drops her.
Alright, okay, so you wrap your Shillelagh, your quarterstaff up with Shillelagh, alright, and that's turn. Oh, it's Indy's turn. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Can we even see her? All right, what is she?
She's surrounded by a bunch of wolves.
Not surrounded yet. They're still chasing. They didn't catch up to her. She had a head start.
I think they caught up to her, they just couldn't attack her because they bonus actioned.
That's not what I'm seeing. Yeah, I don't think that is
No,
the
they're...
case.
Yeah, I was thinking this other thing right here was her.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, they did catch up to him, but he's just an unconscious Darkling that Tom left there. But anyway, yeah, you're on. I guess they can see. Ooh, well, whether they can see her or not, I guess. Let's